Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me share my screen. Screen 4, I guess that's the one. Share. How's everybody doing? Somebody give me a sound check. Let me know if you hear me okay in Slack. There's more chat. Good morning. Everybody hears me? Sounds good. Video is okay. Everybody sees the video. Let's put an order out while we're starting here. Nasdaq's got a possible buy side breakout, so we'll put an order here above this thing. Let's see, we can do this 50 right here. I actually have a order triggered on the futures. I'm trying to figure out why the hell I triggered the. Oh, I kind of cheated on the futures. This was a buy arrow underneath the moving averages, but I basically anticipated moving averages are going to cross over, so I bought the highs of this buy arrow. So I'm in the futures. We'll see if that trade works. In the meantime, the CFD trade is just floating out there as our starting point for the day. It's going to be a pretty quiet day. I get the feeling we really haven't had a lot of action. It's definitely an upside bias in equities and everywhere else, but we haven't had a lot of action, so far in the markets. And I don't know if the opening rotation is going to bring us into any kind of volatility today. As I said, all of the big news has been resolved. The German, I'm just watching the German here. So today we're just going to play around with entries because it's the end of the year. Might as well just enjoy ourselves. So we don't have a reference point here on the crossover here, which basically the second best option when we don't have a reference point here is to see, okay, we have our prior reference point somewhere around here. So if the German beats over here, we're going to try and go with a, let me see if I can do this, against the high over here. So this is a 13,820.50. So if we close there, again with a 40.20, and we'll trade, as I said, both sides of the market most of the time just to see if it plays out. I only had one. I had only had one futures trade today, which I did, which was over here. This was so we had a sell-off after we had a big rally in Asia, which I slept through. But if you guys were there, it was easy pickings here for a couple of very very good trades. And then obviously we topped out right in front of the 1300 level, or excuse me, 12,900 level. Around the round number, double topped over here, started to sell off. This was the first sell signal off of a sell-off. I took that. That was a nice, easy move. I missed both of these trades. I actually probably could have traded this trade over here to the upside, but I was busy doing anything else. Took this trade just kind of for fun. It's more or less within the parameters. And now on the CFD side, this is pretty much it. I have laid out the orders for German. Actually, if this is what 4 or 5 points, this trade should trigger. Okay, let's try. Oh, I'm chasing it a little bit. Okay, why didn't that go? What's going on over here? Oh, it did go. Sorry. Okay, so just late. All right, so chased it. I should have had it here around 57, but whatever. We'll give ourselves the target here is going to be 63. We'll see if the Dow can verticalize a little bit in front. NAS is poking, but not closing through the levels, so nothing much going on over here. So generally, you see it's kind of a quiet day. I've actually spent a lot more of my day trading FX. I traded. There was quite a lot of interesting opportunities. I'm actually in this trade right now. I'm in this trade in the pound. Or did that get done already? I think I got done already. Oh man! All right, fuck. That was good. All right, I wasn't even noticing. So I was in this kind of classic buy trade in the pound. Here we have the uptrend, down arrows. They broke over here. I took a long here. And I guess that they broke above that. The pound really refuses to go down. Very, very interesting price action. I'm super impressed and super surprised. at how strong it holds. And as I said, until and unless it closes on a daily below the 134s, you really can't short this thing on any kind of a conceptual level. But anyways, that's working. I also had a couple of trades in the euro where I had this trade in the euro that worked. I'm kind of stuck in this trade floating around, but this is where the 20-point buffer really helps you. It basically allows you to survive all of this counterflow. And I'm basically at more or less break even right now on my euro position on my own account. So that's based sort of where I'm at. There were other pound trades. There's pound trades to the downside also that worked really well. Let me see if I gotta move this off. No, sorry. So okay, so there was a pound trade to the upside over here that worked well, the turn trade, right? So we have first candle, second candle. I took the second candle because you never want to take the first candle on the turn. So this was a good reversal trade to the upside. But there was also big sell-off trades here, and I took these to the downside nicely. Now whether you took this over here, I sort of passed up because I was busy doing something else. Passed up on this up trade, or whether you took this trade. Giving yourself the 20 points gave you ample room to trade the turnaround. So the whole point of all of this is be flexible, be open to trading both sides of the market, and give yourself lots and lots of space to let the trade work. And if you can do that, and stop looking at the P&L. Looks like we've got 8-9 seconds and a very slow. They're going to come in. May not do it. Nope. Oh yeah, does it come in? Is that the NDX? Okay. All right. So I guess the Nasdaq trade very slow movements here. As I said this morning, we'll see if there's any kind of rush to open on the open, but so far nothing much. The German also very quiet right underneath the key levels. So essentially the strategy as it's coagulating to the end of the year is to be a lot more relaxed about any individual position, not to to stay with this very significant negative risk reward ratio, but trade both sides of the market, be flexible, and clearly don't take any trades that don't fit your parameters. Like if you don't have an arrow reference point, you shouldn't be trading at all in any of these trades. And give yourself that plenty of time to to let those trades materialize. I frankly haven't looked at my P&L since last week, and I don't intend to. I'm actually not. I'm going to try and see this. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm going to try and see if I can not look at my P&L the whole month of January. And then I'm going to look at my P&L at the end of January, and then we'll see if how well that's working. But I am convinced that that's actually been a tremendous improvement. 20 minutes? Mel? What do you mean 20 minutes? 20 minutes is how long you looked at your P&L? You haven't looked at your P&L for 20 minutes? Well, like I said, I mean, this is a CFD, so I don't care about it. But if you notice on all my real accounts, I hide my P&L. Just hide your P&L. Just hide your blotter. There's no reason why you should be looking at the blotter at any time. Like right now, I'm looking at the blotter and I'm seeing 7 in the Dow, and I'm going to take the 7 because I'm just looking at it. But if I wasn't looking at it, I probably would have let it go to the full 10. But anyways, we'll take the 7 just because, opening rotation trades, might as well enjoy them. So now we just have the NDX floating here. We'll see if, that should be actually, that's a wrong construct. That should be 5. Let's see if we can put the NDX to 5. Oh, I'm glad I actually noticed that because we were almost at TP here on the 5s. Is it? Can't tell. All right. Still floating my futures over here. But I will tell you that it's actually been a massively different. When you're in a trading mode where you're going to do a lot of trades, and by a lot I mean between 5 and 10 a day, and you really don't care about any single trade, and you're just looking to place a good quality trade, the highest possibility trade within the information that's given. It's basically, you're given a certain set of cards, you're trying to play the best hand you can at poker. You remove a huge amount of unnecessary angst from the process. It's really incredible how much you remove it. And the single greatest remover is the money line. If you're not looking at the money line, you actually get to, you make money by not looking at money. I think that's like the takeaway from trading. The moment you start looking at money, you stop making money. And that's really, really important to internalize, especially for the kind of trading that we're doing here, in live rooms all the time. What's beautiful about our approach is that we can use it next year to trade events. We can use it to trade Asia. There's definitely 2 or 3 setups during Asia trade. So for those of you on the West Coast or in Asia, we can have some sessions, and we can certainly trade the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. European slice. There we go. And I think, no, that's my euro. I'm looking at my euros here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to close this out. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm looking at my own accounts here, not looking at anything else over here. Okay, so NAS is flopping up and down. What time do we have? Oh, we only got 20. We have 20 minutes to the open, so there's a lot to go on. What's going on over here on the German? Oh, the German now is setting up a better trade for us. Let's see if we can do this. So the break of this one. Also, look at the tight trade. It's a 90 to, it's about 26 points trade, so it's okay. So I'm just watching, both pound and euro broke out to the upside. I did not. I mean, I had those, as I said, I had this trade on my own account a little bit earlier, so we can't really count this. I was floating this trade. Now, the one thing that I think is interesting that you certainly should explore is you're in a position, it goes against you, it goes against you like half your drawdown, like let's say you're risking 20 and it goes 10, because in this case it definitely went down 10 against you, right? You have 2 choices, and then it comes back. You have 2 choices. You can say, okay, I'm going to try to milk this for the 5 that I originally wanted, or I'm going to just essentially try to break even or do +1. And I think the second choice generally is the better choice, because the fact that you had a big backflow shows that this signal was weaker than you originally thought. Now it may reconfigure and it may come back and take out, but at that point you are winning 5 and possibly risking 20. Like, you're given a second chance to improve your trade, and if you don't actively manage that second chance, you essentially have a chance to bury it, because if it's kind of like, the whole idea here is when you start out, you're thinking it's an 80-20 bet, right? That's the whole point. Maybe even 85-15 bet. This should be winning. Otherwise, why are you trading 5-20, right? And then when you get over here, it really becomes more like a 50-50 bet. And if it's a 50-50 bet, the implied return is negative, actually, because a 50-50 bet on a 20 risk 5 reward is negative. So I sort of encourage you to think in those terms, even if this particular one-side trade may have actually worked. But I generally find it's sort of a good rule of thumb that if you're down by half of your original stop, at least move your target to half a target, or a little bit less. If you're down by 3/4 by 15, you definitely want to just you maybe even want to get out at -5, because the whole point is, in this particular structure, you're looking for 10, 12, 13 winners in a row. You're writing insurance. You want small premiums You want to collect as many of those as possible. And if one or two of the policies that you underwrote goes sideways, you really don't care about making money in that policy. You just want to minimize your liability on that policy and just blow out of it. Take the position out and blow out of it. So that's sort of my view and attitude. And as I'm talking, I was looking at my euro here, and I took myself out at break even, and that was probably pretty good because it may completely reverse. It may still hold, may completely reverse, but the fact that it went so far down against me really wasn't a great structure. Conversely, when you look at the cable trade, which I took over here, right? That was a trade that went only 4 points against me, and then it completely went my way. And that's exactly what you want. You want to give yourself ample room so you can repair the trade, and you're not subject to death by 1,000 cuts. But when it starts to go wrong against you, the smart way to manage this stuff is to try to get out at break. If you're given a chance to get out at break even as much as possible, because you have plenty of opportunity to move on to the next trade. So that's sort of like my money management evolution of all of this. Where are you guys? Can I share the updated stop buster EA with the subscribers? I can't get the MT4 stop busters to trade. I think the EA is ideal. Take emotion out of the trades and execute trades on the optimal times when we are away and out. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, there's no. It's not updated stop buster EA. It's the stop buster uses reversal trader, reverse trader true. That's the EA that uses the reverse trader true indicator. And we can easily lay down, let me just sort of lay down that EA and that indicator and show you how that works, okay? All right, but just a sec. So let's use a fresh NDX chart. Anybody else want to see how that EA works? You guys want to see it? It's quiet. Might as well use it today, right? Okay, so we got a fresh NDX chart, 1 minute chart. And what we're going to do is, do we have? Okay, so this is the fixed EA. This is the correct one with the fixed. Let me see what the hell is this. Let me just make sure I have the right one. What is this? Yeah, trading start time. Dynamic and fixed. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is the correct EA. Now you need two components. You need the EA, you need the pure EA and the pure indicator. Do I have the pure indicator? Pure time. Let me see if this one is correct. Let me see if this one is. Okay, cancel. That's okay. So let me just let me just check this indicator. Okay, fine. So that's good. True, true, true. Cancel. Okay, so let's go to File, Open Data Folder. I'm just gonna. I have a whole bunch of Hold on a second. I'm taking it to your screen. So let's go to MQL4 indicators. We're gonna get rid of the pure because that was the old version of the pure. We're gonna rename this into pure. So what you need pure indicator and pure EA. All right. So that's number one. Those are in the Dropbox. Okay. Now I'm gonna refresh. Refresh. Okay. So we have the pure indicator and we have this. All right. Now we're going to lay down the EA. So first of all, make sure auto trading is on and the indicator is there. And the one I'm using, this is the right version. For you, it'll just be called pure EA. So I'm going to lay this down. Here's the lot size. The offset basically says how far above or below the arrow do you want the price to be. So you can set this to 0, meaning it's going to match the arrow, or you can set it to 1, which will be 1/10 of a pip. micropip. Let's just say I want it to be 1/10 of a pip above, 1/10 of a pip below as my trigger point. Okay. The stop loss can be dynamic or fixed. Let's keep it fixed just to keep it simple. We have a fixed stop loss, right? And the stop loss will be, in this case, we're going to use 200 ticks, which is the for NASDAQ, and we'll use 50 for our profit. Okay, all right. This is just for the fixed type. Take profit type is going to be fixed pips. So we want both fixed, stop loss and take profit to be both pips. Put this at 50. Signal expiration will be 10, which means it's going to trigger, it's going to wait for whatever arrow and then, trigger. If it doesn't trigger in 10 periods, then it's going to blow it out. And volatility, we actually want the volatility to be 50% because that's sort of what we're using on the thing. And then MACD size, we can use, this is basically how wide we want the moving averages to be, and we'll say, maybe if you want it to be, if you just sort of want it to be, you want to make sure you trigger all trades, you can just say 1 because you just keep it really, really tight. And now you have the whole thing running. Now you have the algo running. You have this EA, and what's actually going to happen is it's going to set the EA is going to set a sell. Let's see if we get experts. Compiled. Initialized. Okay, it's going to set a sell on candle close on this thing, and it should trigger a sell if this thing drops below the arrow. And by the way, we can do the same thing since we're on both sides of the market. Let's do it on, first of all, let's do it on over here on, where's my NDX? So this is a trade that we're working, and this is a trade that we want to sell. Let's keep it at 90. Sell underneath here, okay? All right, and I'm going to do the same thing on my futures here. So sell, it'll be like 80. Underneath this candle here. All right. So if this thing, if sort of like, if the NASDAQ goes sideways and starts to, that the upside trigger was false. And by the way, the upside trigger that I put in on my side was really, really false. It was not a good one. But this one actually, I guess this one triggered. So you still would have been in the trade. So you would have still been a legitimate upside trade because this trigger would have triggered. But the bottom line is, if this was a false signal, this is a sell signal. It should ameliorate some of the losses. If this signal was true and it survives, this probably won't trigger, and that's fine. That's exactly what we want to be, and we'll let that play out. Okay, so just to review what you want on your settings for a fixed stop. You want the stop loss to be fixed, you want the take profit to be fixed, and it's 50 micropips, which is 5 pips, or 200 micropips, which is 20 pips. MACD is 1/10 of a pip wide. I'm making it super, super promiscuous, so I don't really have to have a big expansion of moving averages. And I'm letting it ride. So now this is actually, let's see if this triggers. I'm not sure. We just laid down the EA, so I'm not sure if it caught this signal, but before I laid it down. So we'll see if it triggers to the downside. We know for sure that the futures trade is going to trigger here one way or the other. So we can watch the futures trade for the time being right now. So we've got 27 seconds, and if there is indeed selling pressure, then that futures then that sells trade should trigger. If there isn't, then it won't. And we can look at the so 4. Okay, so now we're on both sides of the market, and we'll see whichever one resolves. but at least we know that, part of that exposure is hedged in a logical manner, because there was a sell signal on this side, there was a buy signal on the other side. So it's, it was a logical manner to run this, and that opens us up to at least a mild thing. How come this didn't trigger to the buy side? Or was this? Oh, did this not have a? What happened here? Why didn't this trigger on this side? Was this? What was the low here? Low was 90.80. Low here was 90. Close was 60. Did I? Maybe I had my. I guess maybe my. Well, let's. Oh, 90.42. Oh, the low is just not quite there. Okay, so I had my low just a little bit too low. So let's see if that holds. We got about 7 minutes to the open. Very, very quiet day so far. Let's see if markets can wake up a little bit. Anybody trade yesterday after we we left, basically? Because there was actually nice quality trades in the afternoon to hit in NAS. I haven't even been watching the Dow, but there were clean trades to hit in NAS, and there were some nice reversal trades in the currencies. And for those of you who are like sort of new and trying to understand why you trade both sides of the market, the answer to that is because there's literally only two trades you can ever make in any financial markets, in any financial instrument. And those two trades are continuation trades, where you're implicitly betting that you're passing this week. You know what? Actually, has not been. It's actually been totally fine for me. I mean, it wasn't been active, but the trades have all been pretty good. Mainly because, again, this is the thing, Krasi. I am not looking. I've removed the need for directional correctness and removed the need for volatility correctness, right? All I'm focusing on, if there is a continuity setup that presents itself, I'll take that. If there's a reversal setup that presents itself, then I'll take that. And the whole idea is that because there's only two types of trades and you're trading both sides of the market, you're able to extract whatever dominant format is working. And in a perfect, and of course, in a perfect, where this strategy is going to get tripped up, and every strategy is going to get tripped up, is if you have like a truncated continuity followed by reversals that then fail, right? So continuity fails to the upside, reversal fails the other way, and you're sort of broken on both sides. And that happens, and you basically have to absorb that environment for a little while. But that whole idea of where both sides, the reversal fails and the continuity fails, where it just doesn't reverse or doesn't go, are rare. And majority of the time, one or the other regime is relatively accurate. And as long as you're able to participate in one of the other regimes like that, you are able to net make money. Yeah, and I think if you're looking for directional moves, that's absolutely the right decision. But what I'm saying is that in this particular structure, as we're trading on a very short-term basis, just to give you an example, I was very bearish pound, right? The pound price action has certainly not. It was correct like for the first hour. I looked brilliant. I was like, oh, I'm taking the shorts. The shorts are all working. They're great. And then the shorts basically disappeared, and the reversal signals popped up, and I'm like, I'm taking the reversal signals. And that was actually a very intelligent move because the reversal signals all worked. And by basically having that attitude of like, I'm going to participate I'm going to eat whatever the market gives me instead of trying to force the market to cook me a meal that I want. Really creates a much more a less stressful attitude. You're not forcing the market to comply with your view of the world. It may come, cable. It may come, but what this allows me to do is to be really, really patient in waiting for for my trades, because it allows me to participate on the other side of the market if the market wants to go that way, and sometimes maybe even reconsider my global view. So just just an approach, So now we're popping up. Where's my my future? So my futures is interesting. So my futures, yeah, I triggered on my downside futures, but this is my upside futures, which was floating deep in the red, right? But now it came back to basically being net positive. Now here's the thing. Remember I said to you, if I'm on one side of the market and it goes deep against me, I want to go to break even. The exception to that is if I'm on both sides of the market. At this point, for me to go to break even is actually unproductive. I need one of the legs of this particular trade resolution to work. I need one of them to work. So if I were to break even myself at this one, and the other one deep, is going to lose me money, I'm going to be net 20 negative. This way, the worst I can be is net 15 negative. And maybe if I'm super, super lucky, I can get both legs to work themselves out. I'm not holding my breath, as I said, but it's always possible. It's always possible, right? In the meantime, the CFD didn't even trigger the down leg. And that's exactly what I mean about, like, if the thing is working, the bad trades shouldn't trigger, only the good trades should trigger. And all you're trying to do is just be in participating in the market to the best ability of the strategy, and just trigger as many good trades as possible. Yeah, you definitely need the audio signals are really, really useful, really, really useful, to set up. This thing is really, really crawling. Where's my that's 125. What's my TP on this? I guess it's like going to be like 94, 95, somewhere on there. Oh, there it is. I'm done. Okay, so it looks like I'm actually done on my long, because obviously this is the opening market rotation, and and the push was higher. But I did get clipped on the other side. But on the other hand, I'm done on this NAS. So the interesting thing here is that the CFD condition worked perfectly. We survived the stop. We survived the stop. We avoided the false trigger because the pricing here was a little bit different. We essentially got lucky. On the futures, we took one side of the leg. We got hit on the other side of the leg. But I think this is the first loss I've taken in maybe 2 or 3 days, like on either one of the legs. So that's perfectly okay. And now we can spend the next half hour just kind of looking for anything that sets ourselves up for the moves. Where's the German? Did the German not trigger? Because I guess the German must have. I thought the German would have triggered. Why did this not trigger? Is it timeout? Did we time out on this thing? I guess it must have timed out. I was talking too much and now it timed out. Oh, look, no. Actually, sorry, I take it back. I thought I should have. I didn't even realize that I wasn't. You know what? I'm just gonna close this. It's obviously no. I should have closed it a little bit early. I wasn't watching. I should have closed it. Look at this. That was stupid of me. That was really stupid of me. I didn't realize. I thought I'd stopped myself out on the side features, but this actually futures was really working. And it would have been. I would have TP'd myself. I would have had +10. That was a really bad execution. My apologies. I choked up on my own bad trade. And that's a good example of where you had the wide stop. You would have had both sides working. So, all right, fine. I screwed up because I'm trying to keep track of too many things. But this is a really good example. I actually would have been net positive on both positions, right? 84s to over here on a big reversal. That's pretty rare, but that's, that's a great advantage of having the wide stops on both sides. I think I just got, because the CFDs didn't trigger, I just assumed that naturally this would have stopped me out, but it survived the stop because it had a big stop and actually made the move. All right, so now we don't have anything. I don't know why the German didn't trigger. That would have been a good trade also. But so far for the CFDs, we made money on the Dow, made money on the NAS, so I'll count those. Anybody held that NASDAQ trade or no? Okay, so the Dow here actually, sorry, I can't, this is too late. And again, I'm not going to chase. The Dow here actually gave us a buy signal here to the upside that that would have worked. And NASDAQ now is finally really stretching through the all record highs, 12,906. It's going to have a big push higher. So we'll see what happens here. See, the NAS is really pushing higher, but we need a a true setup for us to really make it work. Right now, it's all chase trades. Good for you, Shell. You took the NAS futures to the upside, right? Good job. Yeah, we're getting a lot of this is interesting. It's like a little bit of selling pressure, and now they're just taking everything up. The retail really taking it up. A typical NAS move here. How's the Dow doing? Nothing on the Dow, nothing on the NAS. So we're still very much on an uptrend, even in the Dow, right? And we can watch this candle. I'm probably gonna have to go manual on this candle because it's through the high. Well, let me see if I can do this. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll put it up here. So if this candle clears on the Dow, on the closing basis, we're going to use this reference point as a breaking point, and we'll try to trade the Dow to the upside. NAS obviously trading very strong to the up right now, but stalling as usual. Dow breaks out. Okay, Dow takes the trade here. Let's see if we rally. It's like an interesting divergence here with NAS selling, Dow kind of buying a little bit. Lots of movement both ways. All right, NAS is setting up a not a sell candle on this. That's interesting. Sell candle on here. Why is this not a sell candle? Huh? It should be a sell candle. That's super interesting. I wonder why this is not setting up a sell candle here. All right, we'll put a buy on here against this. 2 seconds, 1 second. Or maybe it did set up a sell candle here, did it? Yeah, in the NAS. It did. Just took a while to set up that sell candle. So that Dow trade just broke down completely. It was a it was a complete complete break of this. This is kind of a false break, because this was really the true signal. I forced it as a second breakout just because I wanted to do a Dow trade, but it really wasn't. This is a good example of where this is not a process trade, because the trade was over here. It was already done. It would have been resolved, and I kind of just said, oh, let's see if we can go for a second run to the upside, and it clearly not working because we're getting the opening round rotation. So now we can just simply set up the NAS and see if this buy side, if it does happen, that'll be a legitimate takeout. Oh, what's going on over here? Okay, let's put this over here against this level over here. See if the German has any setups. Nope. So really, the only clear setup here was the NAS setup. Nasdaq starting to push up. 23 seconds. Trigger on the futures would be 675. What's the trigger on the things is 11, so it's almost right there. 12 seconds. Just playing around with the levels. We'll see if we get any more power maybe on the second move. Triggers on the CFD. Triggers on the futures. All right, be a little patient here. Let's see if get any kind of movement. Obviously running into the second wave of profit taking, because we're now at record highs. We're trying to trade through this 900 round number level. Second time we're trying to take it up. So obviously going to meet some demand, but it's thin markets, holiday markets. It's interesting to see if the buyers can really bully our way to higher prices. I'm going to give it a little. Got to be very patient with this thing. Futures is done. And, all right, screw this. We're going to close the CFDs, because I'm trading the futures as my primary instrument. I don't know why the CFD maybe, it looks like the pricing on the CFDs today, although it would have been done. the CFDs would have been done right there. Sorry. So, that's all got done. All right. So every legitimate trade today, the NASDAQ trade, the beginning NASDAQ trade beforehand, the Dow trade beforehand, not the last Dow trade, which was a bullshit trade, all of those worked. And, you know, I'm going to cheat on my last day and count only the legitimate trades because we're actually, I mean, the whole point is you're noticing that I'm not like, the one thing you notice in the last week is that I've only really made just one dumbass trade in the last 4 or 5 days. And we've had near universal positive results as long as we stuck the process. Yeah, Connie Naz is done too. Yeah, you're right. It just took a long time. I have a hard time being patient with CFD spreads, but I have to give myself that patience because I mean these are holiday spreads. I mean they're just really raping. If you're trading CFDs, they're kind of just raping you here because what am I looking at? It's like I gotta slow it. It's 90 to 60. It's like an 0.8 of a point spread, you know. Whereas on, let me see where the feuds are. The feuds should be 1/4 to 1/2 max. So they're super fast. So I can't figure it, but I think they're 12. Yeah, they're basically 1/4 to 1/2. And what they're doing is they're baking in another 1/4. They're basically making they're baking in like almost a 1/2 point. They're adding 1/2 point above futures into the spread. And that's, you know, obviously creating execution differentials. But that's, you know, that's just life. Oh, you hear that? That's actually very cool. You see that little, you hear that little phone tone? That's that I created that tone for my FX signals, right? So we actually have a signal in, well, it's not a signal actually, but we do have a candle in the euro. Let me show you what happened. So my audible in futures is different from FX. This way I know which one is where it's coming from. So here's the signal in FX. Now this is not a signal. This is not a reversal signal because it's the first arrow of the uptrend. If this was the second arrow of the uptrend, that would be a possible reversal if candle closes below the low. Like if we get a candle closing below the low, we would have taken the short here and going short. I don't want to do this because again, I don't want to just do it for fun because it's not a process trade. But you know, if you want to fool around, you can. But this is not. We need a second candle because the way the reversal trade works is we want a candle outside of the blue that's either second or further down the line, showing you some exhaustion of the uptrend, and then a break of that low to tell you that the reversal is possible. So that's how we be. That is how we be. Oh, Boris is asking me, how do we develop the strategy? Boris, honestly, this strategy has been in play. If those of you who've been with me, like Connie's and you know, Cheryl, obviously, and Krasi from the beginning of the year, this was maybe even last year. All of the sessions ideas were like forever in development, and then it took a long time to combine it with indicators, and it took a long time to kind of figure out, you know, how to trade them both, and it took a really long time to find the right balance, and then I had my final epiphany. Oh, by the way, this is okay. So this is a buy now, right? So we gotta wait for candle close, but so this candle clearly first candle in the break, upside break. You know, we certainly have a chance here for a trade here. Let me get up here. Why is this not working? 5. Gonna have to do this manually because I'm late on the entry, so I just have to do it manually. If this holds above the highs here, which it looks like it will. Clear that obviously we're still pretty much in risk on mode. We continue to press risk trades higher. I'm going to give this the full minute to tick down. Okay, and we get long. And that's it. Oh man, this thing is just slow on execution here today. And then I will let this thing float. The FX trade sometimes can float for an hour, so I will leave those be and let that work out. But that is a classic process trade for us, and we'll take it. Where's the Dow? Dow doesn't have anything. NASDAQ does not have anything. We took this trade already. I think we're kind of done, guys. I mean, we had 3 good quality trades. There'll certainly be a couple of really good ones in the next hour or two to take. But the process is the key. We want to trade in momentum on trend and in momentum on reversal. I mean, we're always trading in momentum. So let's just chat. Any questions on your mind? Any end of the year questions? Any suggestions? I'm happy to to run them. How do you change the audio file? Okay, so this is a great question. Okay, let me show you. So what you have to do, you have to go to Open Data Folder. Where's my thing? Okay. So the thing is, you got to go here. Where are the data files? Data files are not in your MT4 folder. Your data files are. I might as well take. I'm going to take the euro here, guys. I'm just going to take it just because. Why not? It's the final trade of the year. I might as well make it a winner. I think that was like a plus 2.5 points. So I might as well make it a winner. Even though that I'm sure that definitely needs to go to 5, and when I was trading for my own account, I would have left it at 5. So sorry, I got distracted. Where is my thing? So here we go. Where's my thing? No. Here. Okay. So you go into Program Files 86, just in your C drive. Program Files 86. Find your MT4. So this is the ACAP MT4, and you want to go into the Sounds folder. And in the Sounds folder, you're going to get all of these things. So what I'm using weight. I'll just play that for you. So that's like a phone. It's a very annoying sound, and that way I know that's I set that up for FX. You can use I don't know. You can listen. I don't even know what OK sounds like. Oh, that's okay. That's not that great. That's not a good one. How about news? Okay, news. Fine. That's kind of an annoyingly proper sound. I wonder what is alert 1 sounds like. I like news. News sounds better. What about expert? That's annoying too. Okay, so let's say we like news and weight, right? Oh, look at the what's going on over here? Is this euro? Look at a euro. Euro fully hits. So you want to set. Let's just say you want to set, just for argument's sake, edit. You want the buy signals to be news. All you got to do is just simply call it news, and the sell signals to be weight. I'm just showing you, and all you got to do is you say that, and then they'll start producing sound based on that. That's it. It's that simple. All right. So let's see. I'm just watching this. Let's see if this closes through and it triggers me. Why is this not triggering? I'm actually interested. Why is the expert not triggering? Long breakout found. Why is it not working? MACD start. False reverse. Huh. Yeah, but I don't know why it's not working on this thing. I got to figure out. I got to talk to my programmer. He's got to look at the login file and see what's going on. Why this isn't triggering? I honestly don't know. I had it triggering perfectly fine before. This should trigger. This is a proper signal. I don't know why it's not triggering. Long breakout found. Is there something in here? What's the high on this thing? Maybe it's the spread. Let me see. Let me see. 1280. And the close here is, no, sorry. High is 1912, and this is the close is, no, it should be over here. It should be all triggering. For some reason, it's not triggering. I don't know why it's not triggering. Huh. I'll have to ask my program. I resetting fresh signal to true. I'll find out. Okay. Karen, I'll also find out that issue. So if you're having the issue of, I didn't have the issue on the indicator, but I'll double check. We're going to double check if the EA is running through the times, and why it didn't trigger on this particular case. We're going to use this version, the reversal trader pure version on all of them, because that's the one I want to standardize on. So I need to, it could have been that he just sort of like, this was the final version, so he kind of rushed it a little bit. He's in Europe right now, so it's probably going to be after the holidays, but I'll get back to you guys. When he comes back, we'll definitely, we'll fix this like we always do. We'll make sure that it's totally triggering. All right. In the meantime, okay, so here's this is an interesting thing. So what's happening here? We are getting negative slice, right? NAS is turning negative. Do we have, are we going to get a negative signal? It'll be really interesting. Be interesting to see if we can do that. See, so they tested the 900. So by the way, I've seen this 1,000 times too. They test the 900. They take the profits right now. They're really taking profits. There's two things that's going on. Euro rises. News. Slumps. No, nothing. No, it's pure profit taking. I'm just trying to see if there was any. No, this is all pure profit taking. So, and it's classic profit taking, by the way. Just classic. I have I'm going to have an article. I've been doing all of these. Those of you guys who are on the email list, I've been doing all of these investing articles, like some stock idea articles, some investing articles. I have a really interesting article I have a whole bunch of articles that I'm writing over the holiday because we have a new project coming up. You guys are gonna be I think you guys are gonna really love. We're gonna create like a whole new investing website that everybody's going to. It's going to give macro ideas, stock ideas, and trading, and like the best trading practices. But within that, there's this one piece that I just wrote from this guy who used to be a former options market maker for Bank of America. And one of the interesting things he talks about is how Citadel has all these algos that know that retail comes in and buys the NASDAQ in the first half hour. So they handicap their behavior, and once they know that the buying is done, the Citadel itself will then come in and just sell the hell out of the index just to trigger stop losses. So when you understand how the big market makers trade against, the beautiful thing about our strategy is that we completely avoid the traps, because unless the price beats our highs, we're not in the trade, right? 9 out of 10 times we are not in the trade because we're not trying to fight the market maker on the way up or on the way down. But it's interesting. I'm watching it right now after having written the article, and I could really see the fingerprints of what they do. And it's also interesting because if you understand that, if you understand what they're doing, you can then trade on their. You can take more speculative positions on their side. Like, for example, if you wanted to, this is not our process, but if you wanted to, you could say, okay, so we know that Citadel just flushed everybody out. This is the first buy candle over here. If this holds and they take out the highs of this buy candle, that's generally going to be a pretty good indicator that they're going to try to take all that profit taking back, right, and push it higher. I'm not gonna trade it, for my own account, because I refuse to trade anything but my process at this point. But it's just interesting to understand how, if you understand the market mechanics of how things are done now, and then apply our own analysis to it, you could find other opportunities here, that could possibly work. So, yep, it's gonna be stocks, macro, and best trading practices. It's really going to be unique. Very, very, very cool site. I have already a lot of articles that I've written for it. I will send out. The title of this article is "Why Does Citadel Pay $500 million to Robinhood for your option order?" That's the title of the article. I guess you'll really like it. Yeah, it's super interesting. So if you want to, again, not a process trade, just another BS trade for us. So I'm not counting it, even if it wins, I'm not going to count it. But we can, just to give you an idea of how you could trade this, right? Oh, here we go. God, man, this thing is so slow today. Okay, so I got to be above this buy candle on a close, and if I'm above that, then I want to give myself like the 5. Let's see if this was indeed nothing more than a stop flush. If it just flushed out the sellers. If it's more than that, if there's continuous institutional buying, the trade shouldn't trigger. It should actually create fresh lows, right, and break the low over here. And speaking of that, actually, that is a proper process trade for us. So we should set that up. Let me see. Oh, Jesus, it's falling through all my levels here. Okay, come here. It's got to break this level. So I'm on the future side here, and it's got to break that level. So, maybe it's not a reversal. Maybe it's, really, really hardcore selling, and, they're really pushing it hard. So, wow, it's a really, really big move. but I think it's not going to trigger. I know it does trigger. Now it does trigger. Boom, boom. I'm going to close this out. I'll tell you why I close this out. I'm going to close that out because the volatility imprint, and then this is the reason I knew I was going to close this out. The volatility imprint of this particular trade was outside of our parameters, and I forgot to set the volatility parameters because what this trade, the high low of this candle was a high low, was like 20 points. And remember, I said it's got to be 10 points or less. Otherwise, it may still have worked, but it could have gone like 20 points against us, utterly unnecessary, and then come back down and killed us. So I'm kind of glad that I closed this out at profit, and instead of letting it float continuously. But the reason why this should be set properly to half point volatility. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Doug rewrite all the default settings. And by the way, look at this. So now it gets interesting. So now we can go over here and see if this takes out the the high over here on the reversal side. That's and that would suggest that this was the the last of the selling pressure, and now we're kind of basing out. But what I was going to say is I'm going to have Doug rewrite all the proper default values for this particular scalping strategy, so we don't have to reset it. I find that it's annoying if I reset it in the applet, because then I forget, and it will trigger me into trades that shouldn't happen. But anyways, I escaped by being quick on my feet. All right, didn't quite clear the spread on the CFDs, so didn't quite clear to the upside. But let's just for curiosity's sake, let's take a look at whether this runs through right now. It should trigger now. And actually, so I'm watching this. This is interesting. So I'm trying to see if this was outside. This wouldn't have triggered on this candle. So it's not. So I've triggered myself off of this. Again, as I said, this is a non-process trade. I was trying to see if this actually turned into a process trade, but it didn't, according to my numbers, because for it to be a true process, to be a true reversal trade, this candle is outside the blue, which is correct. This candle has to close above this candle. It doesn't. It just matches the high, doesn't close the high on the futures. And futures are really the purest, best indicator price. So maybe, if we get maybe this candle and next candle, if it kind of bursts, I guess the big thing is if we get a close, what's the high on this thing? 66.50. So we need a close at 66.75 on the bid side. Is this correct? Let me just make sure that's correct. Yeah, 66.50, 66.75. To be a legitimate buy candle, to have been a true reversal trade, that works to the upside. But it needs to come in, which is why this trade was just fooling around, as I said, for curiosity's sake, to trade to the upside. I'm actually on the future side here, going to put this as 66.75 on the buy side, which doesn't look like it's going to get done for a while. But it may stabilize and re-energize. Trying to see if there's anything new. Nothing. There's nothing really. No news getting hit on the wires. So it's just just quiet. And let's see if they make one more burst to try to break the highs, and this is the interesting thing, if they don't break the highs, and this is another thing where it gets interesting right now. This now becomes a secondary sell trade, right? So actually, let's see if I can do this manually on my other. Let's on this thing. So if we close, did this close negative? Yeah, I'm going to take this so this is where you trade the other side. This is actually a legitimate sell trade. So let's see if we can trade this to the downside. And it looks like boom. And I got, so what happened here is, my curiosity trade obviously got stopped out because that wasn't, a true turn trade. Didn't really turn. But the breakdown trade was a legitimate trade. I was able to actually, I guess, hedge it, even though I'm not counting either one of these trades as tradable. But it did go down, to the downside. And remember when I said that this candle over here was too much, that there was so much volatility in this candle that a big snapback was possible. That's why this candle over here was a much better sell entry. So in other words, if we traded properly, the algo would not have put me into this trade. I wouldn't have been in this trade, but I could have been in the break of this this trade, this low over here on this candle, and that would have put me in and got me a nice clean 5 points, because this candle was much smaller than 10 points, and therefore gave me the opportunity to come in and break it down. See, you can see it much better on the futures, because I think in this week's environment, the pricing on CFDs is just horrendous. So you can see this much cleaner and clearer over here. So this is a buy candle. I get short here, big wrong trade. I get lucky. I just take myself out because I see it's a big volatility candle, right? Come back second time around. The upside doesn't work, but the downside gets broken in this candle over here. This candle clearly closes below the low over here. I get short over here, easy plus 5 points would have been here for me. That's the final deconstructed trade of the year for you guys, just to understand how it should have been working properly. And remember I said to you when this trade kind of hit, I said, yeah, it may eventually work, but it could really retrace hard against us, which it did. And in fact, as a matter of fact, I think when I entered over here, at 44, I would have been stopped out at 65 here. Utterly unnecessary because I would have taken a trade that was too volatile, right? The perfect trade we want to take is break of the buys or break of the sells off of a modestly what's the word, a high-low candle, absolute value candle. We don't want big fat candles as our trigger candles, because then the profit is already passed up. The profit is already baked into the move of the candle, right? And now you can see that it's clearly moving to the downside. They couldn't reverse it. They didn't have the power to reverse it, and the downside trade worked really well. So all good. Another good day of trading in terms of following all of our passages. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. You can see that we're getting very consistent day in and day out, and I hope that's something you guys appreciate. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Let's do a little champagne to everybody. I'm going to take the rest of the week off and do a little bit of writing, and then we're going to come back next year full force. We got the strategy, we got the tools. We'll fix all the minor mishaps in the EAs to make sure they're all working properly, and we will get it going. Thank you so much, guys. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I'll post this in just a little bit, but you know, relax. We don't have to trade all day long. Yes, with free COVID, I agree with you. Miguel. Miguel. Everybody stay safe. And I'll see everybody in the new year. Have a great new year. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.